100 years of experience lie in Ideal, South Dakota. The team at Jorgensen Land and Cattle is going to take the time to offer insight into that experience along with many other industry experts. If you're ready to learn and grow, this is The Source. Welcome back to The Source. Today, a little different episode. We're going to call these field notes. Going to be a little bit of a shorter version. We're going to have these kind of intermittently between our monthly episodes. And I got a fun one today. Hi, Cody.
How are we doing today?
Yeah, it's another day in paradise outside of the wind blowing.
It is.
How's the pheasant hunting been?
It's been fun. We're green in October. That's hard to believe. It's good.
Lots of birds around.
There is.
Good. Well, today we wanted to take a few minutes and talk about the Motherlode project. And that is a term that we use very, very routinely in our program.
Yep. And
sometimes I think we forget to define it. So, Cody, go ahead and just tell me to start with, what is the Motherlode project?
Yeah, sure. So everything starts with the mother cow, right? We know that good cow herds are foundations for profitability in cow-calf operations. And so that's that kind of what led us down the path of really taking a deeper dive and creating a breeding philosophy, which we call the Motherlode project. And really that's, in a nutshell, we're creating superior cows from generations of maternal production selection. Lots of data there. We've done lots of research on sires and daughter data. And so what we're trying to do really is identify those sires that have really high performing production data. And then we're taking, like the Motherlode sires, for instance, would be sires that proven themselves then to be very productive, cows that are fertile, cows that are correct in structure and in udder structure as well. And so you see, when you have it on the bottom side of the pedigree, and then you blend that in with a lot of paternal sires that have the same, then we can't help but think we are creating a very, very productive cow by doing that. And so that's really, in a sense, Motherlode equals, right?
Yep.
Cows that create bulls that sire great females.
Right.
That's, in a nutshell, what the Motherlode project is.
And so at this point, basically everything that we do at Jorgensen's anchors from the Motherlode project, because the calves created out of that are making the bulls that end up in our genetic partners' hands, which are then making the bulls that make up 6,300 head.
Yes.
That get used throughout the country on a year-to-year basis.
Yep.
We're impacting a lot of replacement females.
Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot of feeder cattle.
Yeah.
But
and you have to ask the question, why does the largest bull marketer in the nation, why are they so focused on the female, right? And it's our belief that, and I think a lot of cattlemen, cow-calf guys will agree with me, it's our belief that once we get the cow piece right, then no matter what direction you go with a paternal sire line, it should be solid. It should be real good. And then once you get the cow piece right through these breeding philosophies like the Motherlode, then you could probably take a few different routes. If you want to go terminal, that's great. If we want to do something unique, that's also something fun. But you're right. At the end of the day, this breeding philosophy through our parent stock cow herd would control the genetics for the 6,200 bulls that we sell annually.
And so what year would you have started, I know that you've been very cow-centric your entire breeding career, but what year did this really become something we're going to put it on paper and make it more than just what's in Cody's head?
Yeah, exactly. 2019, I believe, is the year that we, fundamentally just actually trademarked Motherlode and really called the philosophy the Motherlode breeding project. And prior to that, though, I will add that, I mean, a lot of the tactics that we use today in the Motherlode are not different than what we have done in the past. I think we just took a deeper dive in all that production information and honed in on, some genetics that probably would have never gotten used, prior or later on, except for we identified them to be so productive from a maternal standpoint. We just couldn't but not use them.
Right. And, you see that in what's standing out there today. We look at cows in 3 different categories here at Jorgensen Land and Cattle. Mm-hmm. Why don't you go ahead and that kind of sets the stage for a lot of this too. Go ahead and tell me about those three categories that we.
So there's 3 different status cow would have here at JLC. First, of course, we have recip cows, surrogate mothers. That's the first status. And most of these recip cows they do still have a genetic tie to us in some sense. Then the next one would be varsity, the varsity status. And the varsity status is quite unique in that we actually sort the cow herd based on production and certain traits within the Motherlode philosophy. And so this is a set of cows that I like the name varsity. So they would be considered above average in most of their traits. Their production traits especially, they need to be, I believe our standard now is at the minimum 98 and 98 weaning and yearling, okay, on their calves. And so it really is a set of cows that we put a lot of selection criteria on in terms of the philosophies that we have with the Motherlode project. So this cow herd helps us maintain our heifer battery. We'll get all of our heifers will either come from the varsity cows or some of the heifer calves that are product of this Motherlode philosophy, right? The last status that really is probably the most important for us is the elite status, okay? And to become an elite cow, you have to be a donor cow. Yep. And so to be a donor cow, then those are the cows that we're going forward with this breeding philosophy. The varsity cows are really, a lot of them are just product of embryo transfer or progeny that come from, our elite set of cows. And these are cows that are working their way up to elite status, okay? And then, like I said, then the recips are everything below average, and cows that, have some sort of blemish that I wouldn't like, that we don't want to pass on from a genomic standpoint.
Yeah, I typically look at those varsity cows and a little younger, just not quite enough data yet to say she's
elite,
the next status.
Yep.
So, when this breeding philosophy really came to be, there was obviously a couple of cows now that we talk about on a day-to-day basis. Tell me a little bit about 7209.
Yeah. She's got, I failed again. My grandfather told me, whatever you do, don't ever fall in love with them, because the minute you fall in love with them, they'll disappoint you, right? And this is a cow that I did fall in love with. Probably one of the better cows that I think I've ever bred personally. Maybe it's questionable whether she's one of the best cows that's ever been on the place.
I'll make that argument just for everybody out there watching.
It all can be argued, and hopefully we make better ones. And she definitely has a daughter that's in our upcoming sale that probably brushes that status, I would say, for sure. She was a tremendous breeding tool. She come from a tremendous tremendous line of cows. Sure. I mean, that's one thing about the elite status. Between 7 and 14 generations of good cows all the way back into the pedigree, you can just keep finding good cows. The digger you deep into that pedigree. Right. And there's 15 mama cows in a 5-generation pedigree. both on the paternal side and on the dam side. And when you look at a pedigree like that, and you can actually sum up all 15 cows on their birth, weaning, and yearling production. Yeah. And whenever there's only, either 0 cows below average or 1 or 2 cows below average, think about that in a 5-generation pedigree. That's predictability. That's what that is.
And then the other one I want to touch on is, tell me a little bit about 3020.
3020, she's an interesting cow. Obviously, love her to death, no question about it. I think she's had her first calf was Encore. Mm-hmm. She raised Encore as her first calf, and Encore damn near wrecked that cow. He was so big at weaning, and he was so robust, and he looked like he had 2 months on the rest of his contemporaries, and he just wore that little cow out. And to the point where, she almost didn't make the cutback as far as breed back. And there were several situations where, she was just beat up by that first calf. So that gives you an indication that what her potential was. Right. And we did kind of have to help her through her next calf. But then by the time she got around to having her third calf, she fell right back into place and was a breeding tool and ended up being a tremendous cow in the industry.
And so the main reason why I bring those 2 cows up, and this ties back into our varsity cow herd, we're going to talk about the elites and embryos in a minute, but I want to stay here. A lot of these cows in the varsity herd are getting AI'd to sons that are a direct representation of what the Motherlode Project is. Mm-hmm. So you have Accolade, Encore on top of 7209, 3020, 7209. And then you've got the Skymere Bull, 7209 back to Skymere 2058. Yep. Those bulls are now influencing the top side of your pedigree. Yep. So you made them in the embryo program. Yep. And now you're getting to use them on females that you made the same way. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how much fun that is.
It's extremely fun. This is the epitome of what I would call line breeding cattle, right? And when you have tools like we have today, like the bulls you just referenced, and you're able to line back to that maternal grandsire, when you're able to do that, I just think that's when you're bringing the best out of a pedigree. And so I'm able to look at these pedigrees today and say, like, just look at a mating, not even an animal that's born yet, 2 pedigrees, and you think, wow, look at that. Think of that as 1 pedigree. What could I do with that? And so you're thinking ahead, how you would mate something before the animal is even on the ground. And so it really is a plan and really is somewhat structured. And it is really exciting. So we're building cattle, building pedigrees in stepstones, yep. Right? We're thinking about, all right, now what can I do with this? And we're already ahead of the game there. And I am excited for the future. It gives me a lot of pleasure just thinking about how we can make these cattle better, and really, really a lot of excitement there.
So, now we've kind of set the stage for talking about the elite cows and the matings that have been used on those elite cows in embryo transfer. And you can go look at pedigrees on young cattle here at Jorgensen's and go, was she born in 1978? Yeah. You're talking a son of 2058 on an emulation 31 daughter, and you're going, yeah, are we in 2025?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that, Cody, again, because it's fun.
Those older genetics were selected for the Motherlode Project because of their ability to create females that have proven production history. Right. And so, again, it's a stepping stone in that pedigree, right? You see emulation 31 or 2058, Skymere 2058. You see those, and you might look at it like it's a drop back in time to jump ahead for the future. Right. And we're trying to bring the best out of those cattle that they can express. It's different than when Martin used 2058 back in the 60s when he used them on every cow in the herd for 2 years in a row. It's different. It's different now because we're pinpointing that. We're using that bull, not across the board on every elite cow, but we're using that bull, where that cow might go back to that bull many, many, many times. And so it's a different use of the bull compared to what it was used back in those days.
And, this is something I think it's worth saying. We all have the bright and shiny memories on those bulls, whether it's EXT or 004, any of these great herd sires, but they weren't perfect.
No.
And so I think it's worth saying that, yeah, we're going back and using these older genetics, but now we know what the holes were in those older genetics,
yeah,
right?
I 100% agree there. And you're just punching those genetics in to really expound on the positives where they're needed.
So we've got a sale coming up.
Yeah.
November 22nd.
Excited for that.
Just a brief overview of what's going to be on that sale, Cody.
So there's not quite 100 head of mama cows. They range from bred heifers all the way up to 5 years old. We do have 3 older elite donor cows, and I tell you, it's just extremely exciting. This is the most unique set of females that we have ever assembled for auction. Every one of these females are above average in their production. Every one. We did not put one cow in the offering that was below average. So these are not cows that are in a sale because of their breeding status. These are hand-selected females that come from the heart of our elite and varsity program, and not one cow below average. I don't think anyone else has ever had a cow sale like that before.
There's some cows in there that it's going to hurt to see them go down the road.
It is. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But you know what? Rapid genetic turnover, we got to keep moving.
And, I think something really cool that we did this year with that set of cows is what they're bred back to.
Yeah.
Those bulls are all a result of the Motherlode project.
Yep. Their natural sires were all bulls that were bulls that we used AI, or bulls that were direct descendants of the Motherlode breeding philosophy. Yep. And not to mention, too, we're going to have, what are we having, 45 bulls in this offering?
40. Right
40, roughly?
Yep.
Every one of them is an embryo transfer calf.
Yep.
Every one of them would be the bull side of our Motherlode breeding philosophy. And so these are all what I would call Motherlode bulls that create great cows that then create great bulls.
Yeah, and you referenced, we talked about Accolade. The lot 1 is his full sister, 9411, and she has a band 174 bull calf in this deal.
Yeah.
Product of embryo transfer that is good as you can make one.
Yes.
Along with a full brother to Encore.
Yes.
Coming in this sale.
It's exciting. Yep.
Age advantaged. Bulls were developed slow.
Yep.
They're going to be longevity in mind. They're going to be around a long time for a guy to have a breeding tool to use for generations.
That is the truth. Absolutely the truth. These bulls, again, every one of them embryo transfer. We've never had a fall bull sales before. Every one of them has historically been in the spring. But this is a set of bulls that we wanted to accompany this set of Motherlode cows with. And it's an epitome of what the Motherlode breeding philosophy is all about. So come take a look at the cattle, and you will quickly understand why we took this direction for the Motherlode.
Any final thoughts? Anything that I missed in reference to the Motherlode?
Oh, I just I'm truly blessed to be able to helm this ship that has been a lot of fun to kind of navigate and interpret these genetics, and it's been fun to be able to cross mix some of the older genetics with the real current genetics and really has made a really nice blend of some excellent cattle, I think.
A couple guys that wear you out. Me and David Thomas keep you on your toes.
That's your job.
Our job.
That's your job.
But November 22nd at the Lazy J Grand Lodge.
DV auction.
DV auction.
Catalogs will be out
by November 1st.
November 1st.
Yep. If anybody has any questions, office phone number on the website, or my phone number is not hard to find. Cody's isn't hard to find. Give us a call. We both love to talk about these genetics and these cows. And I appreciate you taking the time to sit down for a few minutes. And
thank you. Appreciate it.
Have an overview on this. And when the book comes out, we will, Cody and I will sit down again and get in the weeds and really talk about this offering. There's some pretty neat stuff in there, guys.
Pretty excited.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Field Notes, and we will see you next time.